Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Hello my Haymates, welcome to a new video, and as you can tell by the title, in today's video I'm going to be reading true spooky Reddit stories or encounters, all that stuff, and I'll be telling you my experiences with scary stuff too. So enough talking, let's go on straight to the video. So the stories don't have names, so I'll just read them. I was in the shower with my girlfriend and we were messing around, getting water in our mouths and shooting it at each other. She had some water in her mouth and was laughing, and she must have accidentally swallowed it down the wrong hole. She looks at me with this terrified face and says she can't breathe. I thought she was joking at first, but soon realized that she was serious. I started trying to give her the but it didn't work. Then I started banging her back on an upwards angle, but that didn't work either. I was so close to grabbing my phone and calling 911 when she suddenly coughed the water up and managed to breathe. Easily the scariest moment of both of our lives. Okay, that's it. What's the moral of this one? Don't mess around with water in your mouth, or else it'll go down the wrong hole. Yeah. The next story is also on Reddit and is by someone named Queen Skunky. My neighbor is an old lady. Rude. She comes outside every once in a while to chat with the passerbys in the garden. The first conversation she had with my dad, she complimented the painting he was hanging in his bedroom. No big deal. She probably saw us move in or glimpsed it at some point before he got curtains. But then she meets our dog and says, "Well, he's much scarier through the window, isn't he?" Again, not big of a deal. We know he has a habit of pushing aside blinds to stare outside. She comments on things like this often, asking us why we didn't walk our dog that morning or when he got a new sofa. But she's just an old lady, right? She's probably bored and outside a lot. Then she meets me. She swears she's already met me, but I had never seen her before in my life. She asks me how I like my room and tells me about the girls who had it before me. Weird, but okay. She rubbed me the wrong way, but I don't really mind. She's fairly easy to avoid, or so I thought. As I was taking the dog outside, I happened to glance over and see her staring at me through the window. She lowers the blinds when she sees that I saw her, but is peeking through them, watching me. Later, I go to the kitchen and see her again, watching me very intently through the window. Our blinds were slightly open to let light in. Then upstairs in my parents' room, there's a window in their bedroom. I see her again as I'm replacing the towels, watching. The more I looked for her, the more I saw. She was watching basically all the time. Not only from her window, she sits in her car and watches us from the street. She sits on her porch and watches. She slowly walks down the street and watches us, literally all hours of the day. And she does it to her other neighbors. And she did it to the people who had our house before us. Everyone knew to keep your blinds and curtains shut at all times. Otherwise, you can guarantee she's watching you. It freaked me the freak out. Wow, that's it. I'm going to tell you that is very creepy. But maybe like she's just bored and she wants to check you out. Or maybe she's a phantom of your imagination. Did you ever think about that? Okay, but that is really creepy. I don't have anything to share about that, but when I was little, I wasn't allowed to play outside, so I would And at the time we lived in the apartments, and like apartments have like balconies, so I would like sit by the balcony and watch all the kids play outside. Yeah, that's my experience. The last story I'm going to read on Reddit today is by a person named Stacy MS. So let's get started. Recently, a friend and I were swapping our favorite horror movies. We were childhood friends that grew up in the same Detroit suburb. I was thinking about an accident that had happened when I was in 2nd or 3rd grade 30 years ago. And she says out of the blue, "I don't know if you remember this, but the police started patrolling our neighborhood when we were in 2nd or 3rd grade because when I was walking home from school, 2 men in a blue pickup truck rolled down the window next to me and said, Hey
kid, get in my van and I'll give you some candy."
Oh, no, my mom says I shouldn't.
need a ride home, and one of them tried to grab me. I took off running, tearing through yards.
3, 2, 1. Got a blast.
I told my mom, who called the cops and walked with me to the bus stop after that. I confess that I was thinking about a time when my cousin Sean recently passed away, so he's been on my mind. Also, he was really smart, much smarter than I. Or the correct, I'm pretty sure, would be me, but you know, whatever. And I were wandering around the neighborhood like kids did in the 80s. The blue pickup truck pulled up to us, and one of the 2 guys asked us to hop in the ride. Sean said no thanks and instructed me to sneak into a neighbor's back porch, luckily unlocked, and stay down. I whispered I was afraid he would get in trouble for not asking the neighbors for permission. Not the brightest kid. I would rather die than break the rules, I guess. And Sean goes, "Stay here and hide. Act like we went inside because we live here." One of the two guys, got out of the truck and went into the yard to look for us. We laid low. About 15 minutes later, he left. I look back on it now and think, what a close call. We live near the area of Oakland County child killer, though in a much poorer neighborhood than he targeted. And I've spent the last few nights reading about the case and thinking about the blue truck. That's the end of that story. I do not have any experiences from blue trucks that I can think of, but that is creepy. I can't think of one. It's not really about a blue truck, but it is when I was at a bus stop in 4th grade, I'm pretty sure. It was at the time when I was still living in the apartments, and we were waiting for the bus. It was around 8:30. My bus has like 5 other stops before they got to my place, so we were waiting for a couple of minutes, and then I look over to the apartments over there, and I just see this guy sprinting, literally sprinting. Then I see this girl behind him also sprinting, but as I look closer, I'm like, what's that in her hand? And it was like shining in the sun, especially since, you know, the sun just came out not too long ago, like maybe a couple hours, like 1 hour before. So the sun is like around here. Don't judge me. And then people in the comments be like, but the sun comes that way. Whatever, okay, I don't care. So I just see this thing shining in her hand that she's holding, and she's chasing him like this. And I'm like, what's that in her hand? And then he's like screaming like, oh my god, please stop, I'm so sorry. Look, there's kids here. And she's like, I don't give a damn about no kids. And then as she comes closer running towards us, I see that what's in her hand is a knife. And I'm like, whoa, cheater is gonna cheat. That's really, that was like really scary though, because especially since she said she didn't care about no kids. So I'm like, what is she gonna do if he comes over here? Gonna stab both of us? Like, peace out, y'all. So then, thank goodness there was a parent waiting at the bus stop with us, and she called the police. But before the police came, the bus already came and picked us up. That was a scary encounter I had. Tell me about some of yours in the comments section.
The next story I'm going to be reading this video is called The Girl Who Wasn't from Lady Sparrow. Let's get started. Sorry if you can hear some cracking. I'm sitting and burning, itching and burning. Stanky fishy, stanky fishy, stanky fishy. I got STD. I lived in the house for 4 years. From age 11 to almost 16. There was constantly something happening. Doors flying open and shut, voices, footsteps, nothing ever stayed where you put it. I was alone there a lot because both of my parents worked and I was constantly terrified. One of the most gut-level disturbing things, though, was the little girl in my bathroom. Every time I walked past my bathroom door, which was constantly since it was right outside my bedroom, I saw a little girl with blonde curled hair and a rose-colored dress. She just stood there, staring, looking like a photograph from 1905.
I started keeping the door closed so I could walk by without seeing her. But she was always there when I opened it. Once I stepped in past her, I couldn't see her anymore, but I could feel her there. She scared me, but I felt really sorry for her because she was trapped there, just like me, but probably forever. As the years went by and things in the house continued to get worse, she started seeming darker. I started feeling like she wasn't really a little girl. I knew there was something ugly in the house, and I felt like it was presenting this sympathetic image of me. Then I started thinking I was completely losing my mind. One day when I was 14, I had a friend from out of town come stay for me for a week. I hadn't told her anything whatsoever about the house because I didn't think she would come if I did. Right after she got there, we were sitting in a room and she left to go to the bathroom. About a minute later, she walked back in a puzzled look on her face and said, "So there's a little girl in your bathroom?" Yeah, she hangs out in there. Blonde hair, curls, pink dress. Yeah. You know, that's not really a little girl, don't you? I almost threw up. I was so relieved and terrified and excited and ready to run out of the house screaming. She wouldn't use the bathroom the rest of the week, and I started using it as little as possible without pissing off my parents, who did not want to believe. Eventually, we moved out. I could not have been happier. I distanced myself from it mentally as much as I could. Then when I was 18, I took another friend on a road trip to pack up a few things. I left the house. My parents hadn't managed to sell it and wouldn't for 5 more years. The minute we got to the property, my friend seemed uncomfortable. When we came around, she bent in the long, steep driveway. We went completely white. I could tell something was wrong, but she insisted he was okay. So we got to work. After a while, he asked to use the bathroom, and I directed him to mine. Not 20 seconds after he left, he came running back, gasping for breath, and slammed the bedroom door behind him. He started blabbing about a little blonde girl who isn't really a little girl. All of a sudden, he went dead still, looked me in the eye, and very solemnly
said, "She's not happy with you. You left and you weren't supposed to." That's creepy. We threw wherever we could, grabbed in 2 trips in the car. After I walked him to another bathroom and waited outside the door and got the freak out of there top speed. That is cray cray. My mom did tell me that when I was little, I would always complain about seeing something in like the corner of like the room. And when I was little, I slept in my mom's room, and at the time we lived in like this really big house when I was little. And it had like a pool, but like the pool kind of like lifted because of earthquake. I don't really know how to explain it to you unless you see it for yourself. I would always talk about seeing something in the corner, and she said I would always say like I hear things, which was creepy. But I also hear that kids are most likely to say stuff like that because they're younger and spirits like to contact them more often than adults. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I love you guys so much. I hope you were able to find this video entertaining to you. I hope you got the shivers down your curvy spine. What's wrong with me? Crackhead hour. So I love you guys.